Thanks again for joining us on the program and welcome. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. We're broadcasting live from Lagos, the Commercial Nerve Center, and of course, Channels Television's global headquarters. And we are tracking big stories in the polity. And that has to do with some of the things going on in Rivers State and as far as the politics across Nigeria is concerned. And I'm going to be having a conversation on the state of our nation as far as the politics and the polity is concerned. And today we also get another perspective as far as the Edo suspension, the suspension of those local government chairmen in Edo State is concerned. We had that conversation yesterday from somebody who speaks for the government, but this time somebody who doesn't totally agree with them. But before that, we're going to look at the state of the nation from the opposition point of view. So it's a packed conversation. But let's begin with what happened in Ado Ekiti today, where human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi has been granted bail in the sum of 30 million naira by a magistrate court in Ekiti State in the case of criminal defamation preferred against him following content of his book, Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, where senior advocate of Nigeria, Areha Feva Balola, alleges that he defamed him that he was defamed in that particular book and actually petitioned the police. The court also asked Farotimi to provide 3 sureties with landed property within this jurisdiction, that is the Ekiti jurisdiction. He was told to refrain from media interview and submit his international passport. The case has now been adjourned till February the 13th, 2025. Farotimi has been remanded in a correctional center in Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State capital for over 2 weeks. And this case has actually generated public interest for and against it, with civil society organization calling for his immediate release. Let's also tell you that the State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, has nullified the ward and local government as well as state congresses of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, which produced Tony Okocha as their chairman. Presiding Judge Justice Goswell Ogbomano, in his ruling earlier today, nullified the congresses by the party, citing the order of court restraining the party from going ahead in the Congress and awarded a 10 million naira fine against the APC. In his reaction, counsel to the claimant, Emenike Ebete, hailed the ruling of the court, describing it as justice to the claimant. On his part, however, the defendant's counsel, William Wobodo, says they will inform their clients, that's the NWC, of the court ruling before deciding on their next line of action. Let's take a listen to them.
The court actually made an order on the 21st of November 2024 for maintenance of status quo pending determination of the motion on notice. So when matter is before the court, the subject matter is there, and the court said, don't do it. And you go ahead in a brazen manner, as the court so found, brazenly, or what the court do, let's just do it, and then we'll go to appeal, and then the court has no jurisdiction. The court has the power under its disciplinary jurisdiction to set aside such acts.
The Supreme Court has said, even in the case of Aguma versus Dele Moses, which arose from APC Rivers State and went all the way to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said the internal affairs of the APC is solely, or a political party is solely the affairs of a political party. It is not for members to decide whether they must be made executive committee members. In any case, the members did not show up, did not comply with the processes, and then there was an application before the court saying that there is an appeal and the matter should be adjourned sine die pending the determination of an application before the court.
So that's the latest development as far as Rivers State politics is concerned. This appears like Tony Okocha has now been sacked for a second time. So just a background to this story as quickly as I can. The NWC had actually dissolved the Beke, that's a Meka Beke caretaker, Meka Beke led ESCO due to what they refer to as anti-party activity because someone, Mr. Frebo, has instituted all of that against him. And Emeka Beke actually went to court. But whilst he was trying to get back his mandate as the chairman of the party, the NWC has set up the Tony Okocha Caretaker Committee to manage the affairs of the party. Well, fast forward, Emeka Beke went to court. He was reinstated by the court. But the NWC apparently, perhaps, let me use the word correctly, perhaps still recognizing Tony Okocha Caretaker Committee, and the case had even proceeded to the appeal court to challenge the judgment that reinstated Emeka Beke. The case has been heard and now been adjourned to next year. Well, Tony Okocha's group went on to want to organize the Congress. The court, the Emeka Beke group went to court trying to stop that Congress, and they got an order, but the Congress went on and they elected Tony Okocha as the chairman of the party. Now that court has now sat on the substantive issue sacking Tony Okocha. This is the second time he's been sacked. That perhaps this is the implication, but the word they use is that those congresses have been nullified. So let's stick with what the court says. But those are not the only stories we're tracking for you. As I said, we have a lot to discuss as far as the state of our nation is concerned. But let's tell you other political stories we're tracking for you in our political roundup stories.
A magistrate court sitting in the Ekiti State capital has granted human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi a 30 million naira bond in a criminal defamation case charged against him. Before granting the bail, the presiding magistrate, Abayomi Adeosun, had ruled that Olamide Fusika, a senior advocate of Nigeria who is Farotimi's lead counsel, is prohibited from appearing before the court. He cited Section 9 of the Magistrates Court Law 2014 to back his decision to grant Farotimi bail. The conditions for the bail include two sureties, one of them having a landed property within the state. Also, he is barred from granting interviews on the case and also deposit his international passports with the court. The Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has challenged the Nigerian police and other security agencies in the state to ensure a robust security architecture and strategies that will ensure adequate protection of lives and property during this Christmas period. The governor made the charge in Abeokuta, the state capital, when he received the new commissioner of police, Ogun State Command, Mr. Lanre Ogunlowo, who paid him a courtesy call in his office in the state capital. Governor Omar of Interior of Adamawa State has taken a swipe at those criticizing the policies and programs of his administration, describing them as enemies of the state. The governor made the disclosure when he received a delegation from the Boitier Nation in the government house, Yola, the state capital. The governor explains that the government policies are available on the state's website for everyone to assess and scrutinize. Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has signed the 2025 appropriation bill into law, marking a significant step in the state's fiscal planning for the upcoming year. The signing ceremony held at the government house Gusau marked the conclusion of the week's deliberations and planning aimed at addressing the state's developmental priorities. And finally, a coalition, the host communities producing oil, gas, and pipeline impacted states Youth Council of Nigeria, are supporting the adoption of indigenous security outfits for the protection of the nation's oil and gas assets. The group stated this during a media briefing in Abuja. Leader of the group, Mr. Emmanuel Pathfinder, explained that the local outfits are familiar with the Niger Delta region and have resources for safeguarding critical national assets.
Welcome back. Let's now get to the crux of our conversation that has to do with the state of the nation. I'm being joined in the program by the former Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, joining us from our Abuja studio, Mr. Kola Logbadion. Mr. Logbadion, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey. Good evening.
So that there will be peace between you and I will not address you only as a politician. You're also a journalist. Is that okay? But I'll talk to you as a politician.
Just you have defined it properly, not just in politics, but also essentially a journalist.
All right.
You are my colleague.
Okay, I accept that, but we're going to talk politics. Welcome to the program yet again. So there are a couple of things I want to run by you because a lot is going on in the country and a lot has also been happening in your party. I know that for a fact that one of the reasons that was cited by the Martinami Wule group when they defected, because that status now is a bit confusing, so let's leave the court to decide that. One of the things they cited was the position of the National Secretary being in contention because Samayan had gone to contest for the governorship position in Imo State. Those were their premise, or one of the premises they cited for leaving the party as at that time. But now we got this court judgment from Enugu Court of Appeal that we understand that Ms. Ayan was now being removed by the court and a new person is now in his position as a substantive National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Maybe walk us through what played out today.
Well, I think where the ex-Speaker Megule team got it wrong was to have drawn the conclusion that there was crisis in the party arising from the issue of secretaryship. That is not legal. I'm not a lawyer, but by my own understanding, that's not the legal definition of division in a political party. For there to be a division in a political party, the party will have split from top to the bottom. And we haven't had that situation at the time in which they defected. And as a result of that, I think that is why when you have said the matter is in court and that we should leave it for the court. But going to the issue of the decision of the Court of Appeal that happened today, from the account that I've read about the judgment, let me first and foremost, on behalf of those of us who work under the Prince Uche Secondus leadership of the PDP, congratulate the person who has been declared by the court as the authentic secretary, Honorable Ude Okoye. But having said that, I think the issue centered on the fact that the zone from which Ude Okoye comes from presented him to the party as a successor to Sam Dadi, Honorable Sam Anyanwu, having gone to contest the election. But in the wisdom of the leadership of the party, they disagreed and said, having lost the election, he should return back to the seat. And I think when he was challenged, he went to court, the High Court, and he lost. He has also lost at the Court of Appeal. So we await the decision of the party. But as we speak, the court has declared Honorable Ude Okoye, who was formerly National Youth Leader under the leadership of Prince Uche Secondus, as the National Secretary of the party.
So, as it is right now, I know that this as far as it has gone, I haven't seen the CTC of the judgment. I understand Ude Okoye will send it so that we understand the rationale behind this. But you have served in the NWC of the party, as you said, under the Uche Secondus party leadership. So, is there clarity as to the effect that when someone is going to contest elective position as a member of the NWC, by your constitution, the person must resign?
Well, I honestly, Geoffrey, didn't study that before I came on air. But I know that I've had situations in the NWC where those who wanted to contest election did resign to contest election. But I do not know, and with all sorts of responsibility, I cannot say that on air. That is the summary of it. But Geoffrey, do we need to go that route? When the court has decided, has taken a decision?
No, we're not challenging the court decision, no. We can't.
So I think that since the court has taken a decision, my expectation is that as a lawful political party, and I believe that the People's Democratic Party is a lawful political party, it must accept the decision of the court. Because in similar cases, for instance, we have been told to accept the court decision in respect of the demand by the North Central to occupy the position of the national chairman, as provided in 47(6) of the constitution of the party. So the party should not begin to pick and choose the court decisions that it will respect. We believe that the party that we left behind is a party that respects the judiciary, respects court decisions. So we must abide by it until maybe at a higher level and other court rules otherwise.
We're going to continue to say that because I had to run through everything from the 1999 Constitution to the Electoral Act to the Constitution of your own party and to all of this as far as it's concerned. But we're not done with your party. Let's stay with your party for a moment before we get to other national issue. And that is the role that your party has to play. Permit me to say sometimes the inability of your party as the lead opposition, if you allow me to say that, to be able to rise to the occasion to stand as a formidable opposition, just like when the APC was on the flip side, makes the work even difficult even for journalists to be able to piggyback on some of the things that the opposition is saying. And right now, the NEC has been postponed. I told you the last time we met that your NEC will not hold. You doubted me. The NEC indeed did not hold. I don't want to prophesy again, so they don't say I'm prophesying. So what exactly is the position of your party as far as opposition politics is concerned? Because from the Nigerians' point of view, they're not seeing you as formidable as it should be.
Honestly, Geoffrey, I will only say that the best way for the opposition is what is now contextually the issue of discussion wherever you go, as in political discussions. And what is that issue? In every political environment that you go now, people are talking about coalition, people are talking about mega party. So I think that we are on a drive towards a situation in which there must be a coalition of all opposition political parties or majority of opposition political parties in a manner that they can come together and create a formidable opposition to the All Progressives Congress. But Geoffrey, let me also tell you that this does not suggest or presupposes that even within the APC, there is no division. Wherever you go in the country today, the division is very heavy. And it is predicated on the fact that the APC has also failed the nation. And on account of that, people believe that the political class need to further pull together in order to rescue the nation. So while I may not, in sum total, agree with you that the PDP has not been able to present a formidable opposition, but I can also suggest that in line with discussions in the political firmament of our nation today, that there will be a need for coalition or a mega party, by whatever name it is called. I think that the opposition needs to be formidable in order to engage.
So in your view, what is going to be the picture of this opposition or this coalition you're talking about? Are there people in your political party that are considering, okay, let me rephrase. Apparently there are people in your political party that are considering this coalition, and I guess there are people that are opposed to this coalition. But if we stand with those who are thinking of a coalition, what is going to be the shape of that coalition? Which party are you guys talking to?
Well, as a political party, I don't think the People's Democratic Party, as a political party, is talking to any party. I don't think so, by my own findings. But I also know, or let me say, that does not restrict the fact that there are actors in the political space who are discussing among themselves on the need to bind together. I think I'm not involved in any, but I think that is the picture that one is getting, going by discourse in the political firmament.
Do you really think PDP as a standalone party can kick out the APC in 2027, given what is going on?
Well, Geoffrey, I've defined it. I've said that politicians, or let me say members of the political class, are discussing among themselves on the need to create a formidable platform that will house the current government. I've said that already. So whether the PDP can on its own house the government of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in the realm of contemplation. It's not what you can define today, because election is still about 2 years away. But a journey of 10 miles starts with a step. So if the people in the political class are having such discussions, it's okay.
So in your view, by your own assessment from where you sit, to ask the presidency of Bola Tinubu in 2027, it is going to be a very tough battle, because that's how you politicians put it. What exactly is Tinubu doing wrong that the opposition is looking at and say, we're going to cash in on this and get this man, let him just do his 4 years and we're going to get him out of office?
Well, I don't understand your position on saying that, I don't know where you are coming from, when you say that, it's going to be difficult to oust the president. I honestly Geoffrey, I don't understand where you're coming from.
No, I'm just speaking plainly. That I said I use the language of the politician. The power of incumbency also plays a key role in all of this. And the fact that your party is not put together, the Labour Party is not put together, it looks like all the opposition, they're just trying to get by. Even if the APC has their own issues, but they seem to be, perhaps because they're empowered, they are covering it stronger than any other person. That is why I'm asking the question. So you can educate me on where I'm wrong.
Well, as a political reporter, you have defined the essences as you speak on what the issues are and what the challenges are. But I don't want to subscribe to the notion or to the belief of people who are going around and declaring that there's no vacancy. It's strange, it is funny. If there's no vacancy, why are you going to put money in election? Why are you going to spend money in election or on an election? So, first and foremost, I believe that power resides with the people. There are those who will tell you in Nigeria that power resides with INEC. And President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one that will appoint a successor to Mahmoud Yakubu. But notwithstanding, I've always also argued that we've had a situation in this very country where a sitting president appointed an INEC chairman and still lost election. So, you know, in politics, nothing is static and nothing is permanent except change. You understand, Geoffrey? So, on account of that, I will not discourage the political class. And I will not say anything that will stop them from planning, because it is normal in a political environment to plan. You are asking me about what has the presidency of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu done wrong that they will limit him to a term. Ask Nigerians now. You have neighbors, Geoffrey. Is it the best of time for Nigerians? Even under the military, even under president, I don't know where you were then, Geoffrey, but I do know that even under president, the military president, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, when SAP was introduced, Nigerians stood up and said, let this SAP wear a human face. But we are in a situation in which President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying that he has introduced reform that will help Nigerians. And Nigerians are undergoing the worst of stress. People are dying because they cannot afford medication, because they cannot even afford food that will constitute a nutrient to their health. That's how bad it is. And I often ask myself, what feedback mechanism is Mr. President getting? Is he being told? Because the Asiwaju that people like us know is such that he relates and talk and speak to people. So I really don't know what is happening under the current situation. You introduce a holistic subsidy removal that has brought Nigeria to the nation to her knees. You introduce floating of the naira that has made even purchases extremely difficult, and it cannot wear a human face. You have continually told Nigerians they should keep renewing their hope. For how many years? It's almost 2 years down the lane, from the first day of assumption of office till today. So it is not about the political class, it's about what the people are saying. And Geoffrey, I believe, as a journalist who also gets involved in feedback mechanism, I know it as a fact, and you must have had complaints too.
Of course, there are complaints.
It's not just that. Geoffrey, it's not about whether, the political class just want a change for change. No, it's a reflection of what is happening in the society.
Without trying to speak for the government, Dave said, the president has constantly said, I am aware that the decision I took is going to be a painful and it's going to be a difficult time. But bear with me, because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, a lot of Nigerians are still very worried about this development. Nigerians are angry, Nigerians are hungry, and I can go on and on. But the government has also said there are a couple of things we're doing that is showing that we are in the right direction. They quote things like the external reserve, they talk about securitization of our loans and better management of our finances. Although our inflation is record high, they also talk about the issue of NEL fund. Now they are touting the issue of FAC allocation that is record high. 1.7 trillion naira was shared among the tiers of government. in the last week of November. So some of the things that they are touting to say, in the short term, look at the gains, minimize on the pains. Is that something that resonates with you? Just playing the devil's advocate for the government.
I don't think that resonates with Nigerians, and that to me is the honest truth. It doesn't. Geoffrey, we are in Christmas. Nigerians cannot afford rice because a bag of rice is now between 100,000 and 120,000, depending on where you are buying from. They say, oh, Alhaji Dangote has shrunk the cost of petroleum products. A liter of fuel in my own area in Abuja here sells for 1,080 naira. So all the things that they are talking about has not reflected in the lives and the pockets of the ordinary Nigerians. Purchasing power is abysmally low. So people cannot even feed. Is that bad? Then if you are unlucky to be on electricity that is on band A, you are either between selling your house to buy electricity or even running away completely. And you have a government that appears so insensitive that they are not even listening, they are not talking to people. And in fact, it is strange and absolutely so that Nigerians who spoke out against military government have been so timid that they cannot even express concern for the pains that they are passing through. They can't even speak out. Sometimes I ask myself, is it this same Nigeria?
Why do you think Nigerians are not speaking out?
People are scared. People are afraid.
Scared of what?
Some people have become so hungry that they just feel that, look, let me manage my life. Whatever the government wants to do, let them go ahead and do. Let me manage my life. And Geoffrey, let me tell you, it will rub off on the election. If the political class also continue to join in this ominous silence, and they are not speaking out. Because, Nigerians are very easy to fool. They will say, oh, is it not the same people? What do you need to go and vote for? Why do you need to participate in the election? Well, they have already decided it. So, as we speak, there must be continual political education of the people. And lest I forget, we must ask questions about the modality of the elections that we hold in the future.
So let's because all the major candidates, you know what I mean by all the major candidates, actually talked about their intention for this brutal policy. Whatever is going on under the Bola Tinubu administration is clearly self-inflicted. Removing of fuel subsidy, and now what has now happened is the money used for fuel subsidy, we're seeing the gain or that money going to FAC. So it's more like taking from the citizens directly and giving to government. How government is spending is a different kettle of fish. Also, not subsidizing FX by floating it is another decision of the government that has brought us here. So what would, say, an Atiku Abubakar, who was a candidate of your party, would have done differently that would have maybe repositioned us better than where we are 18 months down the line under Bola Tinubu?
Well, I think on this same platform, I had said that, yes, Atiku's promised subsidy removal, but he declared that it will be phased. If you go and check his program, or you look back at his interviews, and this is not a defense, this is speaking the truth as it is. He was emphatic about the fact that under the Obasanjo's administration, President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, that they phased subsidy into 4 different levels. And that before they left office, they have done 2 levels of subsidy removal. And that he will continue with the phasing of the subsidy removal. He said that. He said it in interviews. He never promised a holistic subsidy removal. Look, if you want to wear a shoe and it appears difficult, as you push the foot forward in the shoe, it will get to a point where perhaps you need a shoe horn for adjustment. Those are interventions. I'm not an economist, at all. But I understand the economy of sustainability. I understand of the economy of how to stay alive. So if you have a government that appears so insensitive that it doesn't care, it's just concentrating on, oh, I'm doing reform. I'm doing reform. What is the impact? What is the effect of the reform on the lives of the citizenry? I think that is the issue. And I do not believe that anything is cast in iron that cannot be subject to review. No matter how long a man travels in the wrong direction, the day he discovers it, he must make a U-turn. So if the policy is not reflecting in the lives of the people, you have a duty and a responsibility to re-examine it.
So let's piggyback on the budget that was presented. Clearly, the president is not backing down on whatever appeals that has been made, because some people are suggesting that maybe we need to defend the naira, that even big economies like China defends the naira. But if you see where they leave the exchange rate in the new budget, it's clear they are now being realistic as to reflecting the market. So are you also of the opinion that the president should consider looking at not necessarily floating the naira anymore, or just some level of backing so that to support the economy? Is that your position? Because that is the crux of the matter. Beyond fuel is the FX.
Yes, just some level of review to see the impact of these policies. What I had said in the beginning, the feedback mechanism, what you are doing, the policy that you are operating, what is the impact on the lives of Nigerians? Is it positive? Is it negative? If it is negative, how much of it can we review? Nobody is saying that, oh, since these are his dream policies, that he should throw them overboard. No, that's not a position. But the impact of it on the life of the average Nigerian out there is what he needs to review. And because no matter what, this has impact on his administration. This has a huge impact on the perception of even he himself and his administration as well.
So as we begin to wind down from where you sit, is the Bola Tinubu government failing or succeeding?
That's a straight question. That one has a straight answer.
That's what I'm asking you.
Go to the streets. Go to the streets.
Mr. Kola, I'm asking you. The question is to you.
No, Geoffrey, wait now. I'm building it.
Okay.
I'm building the response. If you tell somebody to go and do voice pop for you on the street as you speak, close to 70 to 80% Nigerians are going to tell you that the administration is failing. And it's a matter of fact. As per the impact in the lives of the people. And what is the essence of government if it does not reflect in good governance in the lives of the people? What's the essence of it? So that is the issue. You know, sometimes when his handlers speak, they speak about hatred. And I always ask myself, what are these people talking about? Come on board. Come and explain the policy. Come and tell Nigerians why the policy goes this way. Come and discuss with Nigerians what the government can do. Let Nigerians tell you too what they think that government can do. Don't just sit on overboard there and think that you are talking down on ordinary Nigerians. Look, Nigerians can be quiet. They can accept any form of thing. But at the end of it all, they will prove themselves.
We're going to come back in a moment to that as we begin to wind down. But there's something I will need you to speak to, which has to do with security. Recently, we've seen that the reported incidence of security or attacks has actually reduced from at least reported cases. And this government has seen that as a gain as far as leadership is concerned. But we also saw a report from the NBS saying that over 2 trillion, I had to look at the number to be sure I'm seeing correctly, that 2 trillion naira has been spent as ransom between May 2023, if I'm correct, to April 2024, which is about a year. 2 trillion. That is no longer theft. That is no longer crime. That is an industry in itself. What's your impression? Because I want you to juxtapose the success being touted in terms of attacks and all of that as against this amount of money spent on ransom.
The Yoruba people has a way of saying it. It is he or she that it touches. Who feels it knows it. As we speak, in my own community where I come from in Kogi State, people cannot go farming. They are being kidnapped and ransom is being taken. I have a pathetic case of a friend who came in from the US for the burial of his mother. And an invited guest who was coming to attend that program got killed. And those who survived, they had to pay ransom. As a matter of fact, they demanded a ransom of 150 million naira before it was negotiated downwards. That is the situation we find ourselves in this country. So I cannot, because I'm not in MBS, I cannot speak to their data on the reality or otherwise of it, but I can speak to what is happening in the environment where I come from, where bandits go to homes, knock on doors, pick councillor, pick members of the society, take them into the bush, collect ransom. It's happening. It's happening. So that is the challenge. So if the MBS, which I don't know, I think it's government-owned, I might be wrong.
It's National Bureau of Statistics. It's a government-owned institution, an agency of government.
Thank you. Came out and provide an advisory for government on the realities on the ground. But I do not expect that any agency of government, as it was reported, will go after the head of that department. That's totally strange. That's no longer governance. Because what they have done is to provide advisory. They are not a political party, and I don't know whether they subscribe to any political party.
All right, Mr. Ologbodi, just a couple of one or two before we go. So I'm sure you've seen the 2025 budget. The president has presented it to the joint session of the National Assembly, 49.76 trillion naira, record high in naira terms, not in dollar terms. And they've made several projections, including the controversial line in that assumption that says they hope to push inflation as down the line by 19% from 34, 35, whatever it ends this year, to something around 15%. I'd like your take on that projection, as well as the budget.
Well, Geoffrey, I don't know what I would say about the budget. For instance, the budget was presented to a set of choristers. So I don't know whether these are lawmakers who came for the most serious business of the parliament. Appropriation is the most serious business of the parliament. And they ended up standing up and as choristers in a chapel, singing the cognomen of Mr. President. I don't know how serious we want us to take them. Also, I saw the budget, but before the close of this year, we were told that the budget 2023, budget 2024 were running concurrently. Nobody has told us whether the budget 2023, whether the implementation has been completed. Nobody has told us. Oh, they have said now that they are moving the budget 24 into 2025. So a friend of mine said that Nigeria is the only country where everything is dual. From the currency, you have two types of currency. If you go to passport, it's possible you have another type. So we have budget in different types and phases, and you don't even know which one they are using. And a budget in which 40% of the budget will be used to fund deficit. I honestly don't know what you want me to say about it, Geoffrey. But what I do know, and what I care about, and what I think that the political class must take into serious consideration is the fact that the living condition of Nigerians has become pitiable. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Ologbodi, as a matter of fact, members of your party are in that National Assembly, so it's a good time to also speak to them to rise up to the occasion, whatever reservation they may have with the budget and with the happenings in the country. That's why we have an opposition in the National Assembly to do their work and do it diligently, because implementation is their job to oversight that implementation. But I must thank you, Kola Ologbodi, former PDP National Publicity Secretary, also a journalist. I must give him his title. At the end of the day, thank you so much for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey.
I appreciate it. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears to Edo State politics. We talked about it yesterday with someone who is in support of the government's action in suspending 18 local government chairmen that were democratically elected. I'm going to be talking with someone who disagrees with that position just after this break. Join us again. All right, so begin to wind down the program. The last leg of the program, I must say, let's talk about Edo politics. It's been in the news for some days. So, for context, for those who are not following the story, not too long ago, the governor who was just sworn in not too long ago as well had actually requested, according to him, the account transactions or the financial transactions of the local government chairman in the state. Give them a deadline. According to him, they did not present the records of the local government, their financial records. So he wrote to the House of Assembly to weigh into the issue, and the House of Assembly, citing Section 20 of the Local Government Law 2000 of Edo State, had to swing to action, suspended the chairman for 2 months, and then referred to the governor. Governor approved. Governor now set up a committee to investigate all of the financial issues around this particular chairman. Well, the chairman have actually revolted and said this is unconstitutional, is illegal, as well as the party, the PDP, because for context as well, all the 18 local government chairmen are manned by the People's Democratic Party, by the governors of the APC. So is there a political angle as well as a legal angle? We're going to look at all of this. We're being joined in the program by former chairman of Argon in Edo State, Mr. Isaiah Sifo. Mr. Isaiah, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I know you were 2 times former chairman of a local government, and you're a lecturer, and so you have many caps to your name. But let's take your initial reaction to what is developing in Edo State. I spoke with Andrew Nwata yesterday, who is a member of that committee set up by the governor to investigate all of the issues that are raised as far as the financial transaction of local governments are concerned. And he was quite emphatic that the governor has powers and the assembly has powers to, quote and unquote, not using his words exactly, kind of oversight the work that the local governments are doing, because when I cited the Constitution, that was his pushback. What's your response?
Well, my response will be that first, when you're making any policy, you must situate it on the background of the society or the nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation. Edo State is supposed to be in democracy. And democracy has 2 indices: periodic, free and fair election and the rule of law. Now, when you jettison these indices, you're no longer in democracy. Now, the importance of local government in national development has been historical. In 1976, even under the military government of Olusegun Obasanjo and Yaradua as vice president of the military government, did a comprehensive local government reform to emphasize the importance of local government to national development. And the essence of the 1976 reform was to try to insulate the local government from the excesses of the state government. Incidentally, Olusegun Obasanjo came again in 1999 as elected president of Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar as vice president, and inaugurated. Atiku supervised the inauguration of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Argon, from where I was elected as partner chairman of Argon in Edo State. And the main objective of Argon was to ensure the autonomy of local government. And the abuses on the autonomy of local government, particularly Section 7, Section 1, continue with so many governors in Nigeria. The present president was governor at this particular time when Argon was inaugurated. And the president felt that there was a need to address this abuse of the democratic local government administration in Nigeria. And the Attorney General of the Federation, went to Supreme Court to seek a proper interpretation of the implication of Section 7, Section 1 of the Nigerian Constitution. And the judgment was given on the 11th of July 2024. And Nigerians applauded it as a landmark achievement of this present government. And hereby, the governor is coming in Edo State to say, I am not aware of the provision of the Constitution. I am not aware of the judgment of the Supreme Court. And I have my own mind, I have my own style to operate the local government in Edo State as a personal entity or an appendage of the state government. That has been jettisoned. So the attitude of the governor or the governor of Edo State in collaboration with the House of Assembly to mention and to say that they have suspended the 18 local government chairman and vice chairman is illegal, non-avoid, a clear violation of the laws of Nigeria, a clear violation of the Constitution of Nigeria. And let me tell you, In 2015, 2016, thereabout, when Adams Oshiomhole was governor of Edo State, he sacked the then chairman of Oredo local government, Osaro Obaze. A high court in Edo State ruled in the judgment of the court, a courageous female judge told Adams Oshiomhole, you don't have the power to suspend or to remove or to sack an elected local government chairman. Now, before the House Assembly went into the drama and the jest that they went into to say that they suspended this chairman, again, a high court in Edo State gave a judgment, a perpetual injunction restraining the House of Assembly, restraining the governor, and reminding them of the essence of the judgment of the Supreme Court, that you don't have the power to embark on this journey. Therefore, you cannot do it. They ignored the decision of the High Court. They ignored the decision of the Supreme Court and went ahead to make the pronouncement. So for us in Edo State that are rational and reasonable, we feel that what they have done was unlawful. I have maintained and I've heard that in view of the laws of Edo State, the laws of the country, and the Constitution of Nigeria, in the eyes of the law, there was nothing like suspension or suspension. But I'm grateful today in Edo State, the High Court judge again has said, we have a responsibility to give essence to the judgment of the Supreme Court. And as far as they are concerned, status quo ante must be maintained before, that is, the status of local government in Edo State, before the irresponsible resolution of the House of Assembly has to be maintained. That is to say, they don't even believe in the eyes of the law that they were removed from office. In any case, if you are going to pursue your illegal journey, you are restrained. The governor, the deputy governor, the general, and all those agencies that are involved are restrained from giving effect to the so-called resolution of the House of Assembly. So, as of today, there is no dismissal or suspension of any chairman or vice chairman in Edo State because that decision was founded on illegality, irresponsibility, and legislative hooliganism, which anybody that is reasonable and rational in Nigeria will not accept. So that is the position, that is the situation. So the governor cannot exercise the power that are not vested on him by the Constitution of Nigeria. And that section 10.1 level that I referred to is laughable.
Yeah, you're going to continue, but have they, due to this judgment you talked about, this order of court, have the local government chairmen returned back to their councils?
Yes, the chairmen have been functioning, but you know, in a system where you have people that believe in might instead of law, they think they can use their physical might and they are boastful about their federal might. We have the police, we have the DSS, we have the military, we have the talks. You want to physically prevent these chairmen and vice chairmen from performing their legal duties. If you succeed to use physical or violent force to stop them, but you have no lawful means of restraining them. So the physical force to stop them to go into their offices is of no effect. Rather, they are making a jest and a fool of themselves. In so far, you don't have the legal instrument to stop these people, which they don't have. The chairmen are functioning, the vice chairmen are functioning. And let me tell you, any person that goes to the back door, knowing that the governor has been restrained from tampering with the administration of local government or any of the agents have been restrained, you don't go to the back door to sign the check or to operate the local government. That is criminal, and the person should be available for criminal prosecution because you cannot exercise a responsibility that is not vested on you by the Constitution. And look at the unwise counsel that they exercise. You remove chairman and vice chairman, and you are appointing the leader of the legislative arm to act in their place. Who has the oversight function over the so-called misconduct?
My apologies, so that we can accommodate as many things as we can within the time we have.
Okay.
Let's go back to what they raised. You have been a two-time local government chairman and a chapter chairman of Argon in Edo State. So, do you think, from your perspective, from your experience, that Legislative Assembly, which naturally lay people like us would think should do what the House of Assembly is doing, but the lawyers will be able to explain better than all of us, do you think the Legislative Assembly will be able to hold chairman and vice chairman accounts? To account, I meant to say. This
is a challenge and a requirement of a responsible governor. Not just the governor of Edo State. Governors should strengthen and should support a robust democracy in the local government, a vibrant parliament, because the local government, executive arm of the local government, is answerable to the people through the instrumentality of the legislative arm of government. It is already an existing arm of government because we are operating a presidential system of government, federal, state, and local government. So it is not enough for you to sit and say, chancellors have no ability, they have no competence, They have no the experience to exercise oversight over the activities of chairman and vice chairman. What a governor should do, what the House of Assembly should do, should make laws that should strengthen the ability of this local government legislative arm to enable them perform their functions. It is not for you to usurp their responsibility. The first schedule of the Nigerian Constitution recognizes the local government has a role by listing the functions of the local government. Now, if the Constitution has given local government role to play, and you have a parliament that you think may not have the capacity to play their role, what a governor should do is to strengthen, is to contribute to a robust democracy that will not give you a viral local parliament that will exercise oversight over this executive arm of government.
All right,
it is not
Mr.
for you to usurp. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Sufil, so what do you think is playing out here as far as the politics is concerned? What do you think is happening here?
Well, it could be ignorance on the part of the government. It could be mischief on the part of the government. But the essence of what they are doing or what they are trying to do is political and partisan with the intent to steal the money of the local government. The governor does not have power to exercise check over the council chairman by the Constitution of Nigeria and by the judgment of the Supreme Court. And the executive arm of the local government cannot be answerable to the executive arm of the state. Now, accountability in public finance is either by parliamentary proceeding or by judicial. That is to say, if you want the chairman to be accountable, they can only be accountable to the legislative arm of government or to the judicial arm of government in terms of judicial commission of inquiry. But for you to say as governor, you are not the headmaster, you are not accountable to the House of Assembly because you don't present any figure to anybody, but you are not asking the local government to come and present figure to you. In any case, have they shown you any letter that they wrote to this chairman? Have they shown you any circular that they sent to this chairman? Is it a personal property that you call people and say, send me an account? You do not have that responsibility. You don't have that authority. Now, you didn't show any letter to anybody. You didn't show any letter to the House of Assembly, and they acted on your letters by your own saying that I asked that they should submit the council for. So,
Mr. Sufil.
Okay.
We heard the governor said there were deadlines given. I don't know whether it was a formal deadline or a verbal deadline, but almost thank you for coming on the program. And it's an ongoing conversation. I'm sure it's going to be back and forth with the government and in court. Isaiah Osifo is a former chairman of Algon in Edo State. He was also the chairman, two-time chairman of Ohunwode Local Government Council in Edo State. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. It's about maybe 5 days or so to Christmas. So I'm wishing you a happy Christmas in advance. Enjoy your holiday and your weekend. God bless. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Bye-bye.